Chris Lynch with ePark Canterbury. Park at 264 Russie Road and go in the draw to win a trip to Samoa. eParkcanterbury.co.nz.
Tony Hill, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you for your time. It is hard to believe that it is nearly 1 year on since the disappearance of Yanfei Bao, and yet we still don't have a body. We still don't have closure for the family. What do you say to that family?
Well, it's really hard on the family, of course, and our team do a great job of wrapping around them during these things, but the team haven't given up either. Like, there's still work to be done. And I think even if you reflect in the last 12 months, we've had cases from the early 90s that have been resolved in the last 12 months. I think it just shows the tenacity of our team that they're going to put everything they can into this to try and bring some closure and try and find her. I understand that they've got working towards the prosecution, obviously, and they're doing really well with the evidence they have, and they're just waiting a time in court for it.
For you personally, is it frustrating for you when you have a prosecution? Obviously, we can't talk about that because that's before the courts, but still not having that closure for the family? Because I do know that police and the detective sergeant involved in that, they really do want closure for the family, don't they? Yeah,
they do. And whilst there'll be a degree of frustration for them that they can't bring that, I think what they take, I suppose, some confidence in the fact that they know they've done their very best by the case, and when they know that, then they know that, we'll be presenting something. We've done our best effort on it. It'll be the facts on the day that are judged.
Of course, in the North Island, police are offering various rewards for various crimes at the moment. I think one's up to nearly $100,000 or something similar. I'm interested to know, how do police decide, or what's the motivation for police to decide, let's do a reward? Is it because they have a feeling that may bring out the potential suspects? What kind of threshold do you get to before you go, let's put up some cash?
Yeah, so as you know, it's a pretty unique that we actually do this as a tactic, and it really gets to the stage that we've exhausted pretty much everything we possibly can to bring a resolution to it, and that's we just want to try and get some information flowing again on it. And that particular case that's in there at the moment, whilst I don't have personal knowledge of it, I would suggest that's where they are at. So I just think that actually this is the next step they need to make to actually get some information coming back in that might resolve that for them.
It's also not just recent cases, it's also historical cases too. You put up cash rewards.
Yeah, because often there's people who had some knowledge of something at the time and decided for their own personal reasons that they weren't willing to share that, and then at a much later date they would find themselves in a different set of circumstances, and they just think, might be, now that where I'm at in my stage of life, I'm probably prepared to tell police about something, and if that's instrumental into resolving the case for police, then they are entitled to that.
There have been several media releases out recently regarding police operations, particularly targeting boy races for specific events. Is that something police will continue to do, or do police still on a regular basis pull over car enthusiasts down Morehouse Ave and Fitzgerald Avenue? I mean, is it ongoing?
Yeah, well, I think it's important to point out there is a difference, because there are people who are genuinely car enthusiasts and they really, love their cars and will get meet and go to places, but they're very different than antisocial road users, which, are they're distressing for the public. They, aren't always obeying the road rules, and they're going to places and waking people in the middle of the night with by their large gatherings and things. And those are the things that we really want to go and tackle and look at. We've got a team dedicated to that in Canterbury, and they do a great job at actually holding people to account for their behaviours.
Is it getting worse, better, or still the same?
Oh, look, I think there's ebbs and flows in that. We've seen periods when it's, when it's frustrating for people and we get a lot of complaints about it, and then we have periods when it's not. But I don't think it's necessarily getting worse. I think actually we just go through periods when we hear more of it. So.
A recent report suggests that the second biggest issue facing New Zealanders at the moment is crime, or the perceived increase in crime. Of course, that comes from Auckland media, so it may be specific to Auckland, but they say it's national. Who would know? Number one being the cost of living. There's probably some synergies or links between that. Do you believe in your job that crime is a concern for the public? What's your general take on it? Because I know that one of the biggest things you like to do is get out and about with your frontline staff when you can. Is it a major concern, do you think, for Christchurch, or touch wood, are we getting a bit better in the crime wave?
Well, Excuse me. Well, there's certain things that we are performing better than other districts in, right? So, for example, the numbers of dwelling burglaries of recent times is at a low that we haven't seen sort of prior to COVID, really. So it's those are encouraging.
Well, that's positive.
Yeah, it is.
What do we put down to that?
Oh, I think actually we've got a tactical crime team that are doing a good job, and actually some of those offenders are in different spaces, and and perhaps they're targeting people in a different way. But actually, so some crimes do tend to go up and down in that space. So we don't all follow the same rhythm as what Auckland follows. But there are things like family harm that we do see increases in, particularly when there's the cost of living's high and there's a lot of pressure, financial pressure on homes. We can start to see some of that play out as well. I'm not sure whether I would put it at the second most concerning thing for public with the knowledge I have of the numbers. I would have thought that actually there would be some other things that were playing out in their minds more. Definitely I can see why cost of living is number one, though.
I know we're still in winter, but in summer, do you think we'll see a bigger increase of police around the likes of Cashel Mall? I mean, I know at the moment you've got Business Canterbury or one of those associations hiring full-time staff to walk up and down Cashel Mall. It appears to be working. I've spoken to those people and they say they're getting rid of some of the rat race and those types of things. Do you think police will not necessarily replace them, but will we see more police over the summer period?
Well, I think we'll see that before the end of winter, to be honest. I think actually we'll, I think our commissioner is not far away from talking about how we're going to be approaching this in the metropolitan areas and some change to doing that. And I think that actually the public would really like to see us, and not just the CBD, but actually going to places like our malls and getting places where there's large numbers of people visiting and moving through. So we're keen to get into that work, and we're just thinking about how we might do that at the moment. But I think we're going to see it a long time before this summer. It might be in hopefully the next couple of months.
Last time I spoke to you was just before Christmas. Can't believe it's been that long, actually. I was thinking about the other day. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Where's it gone?
And I asked you what keeps you up at night. So I'll ask you again. What keeps you up at night?
Same thing. The main thing that keeps me alive is the safety of our people. We do an amazing job of preparing our people for the job they face. But inherently, there's some risk in it, right? And there's still good numbers of people who want to join Canterbury Police, but actually the rest of the country would really benefit from having some people join in other areas as well. So, just making sure that I wonder at night about how safe our people are and what are the events they're going to, because it can be quite an unpredictable job.
Yeah, they are going to some very, very intense mental health jobs.
They are, yeah, and sometimes people who are suffering from mental illness can be some of the most unpredictable, of course, as well. So
it's always good to catch up with you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.